The 3rd century marked a period of profound transformation and trial for the early Christian community, particularly for the emerging Catholic Church. As it navigated through the complexities of Roman political changes, theological disputes, and severe persecutions, the Church's structure, doctrine, and influence underwent significant evolution. This essay aims to chronologically explore these pivotal developments, shedding light on how the Catholic Church began to take a more defined shape during this era. Early 3rd century, expansion and persecution. As the 3rd century commenced, the Christian Church was gaining momentum across the Roman Empire, expanding particularly in urban centers like Rome, Alexandria, and Carthage. However, this growth was not without challenges. The Church faced sporadic persecutions under emperors like Septimius Severus, 193 to 211 AD, who, in the year 202, issued edicts against the conversion to Christianity, particularly impacting regions such as North Africa and Egypt. Mid-century crises and theological developments. The mid-3rd century was characterized by both external persecutions and internal theological disputes. Decius, 249 to 251 AD, aiming to restore traditional Roman values, initiated more systematic persecutions that required all Roman citizens to perform public sacrifices to the Roman gods, an act directly contradicting Christian beliefs. This decree led to a significant crisis of faith, as some Christians apostatized, while others, termed confessors, endured torture and imprisonment without sacrificing. In the wake of these persecutions, the Church faced theological and pastoral challenges, particularly concerning the readmittance of lapsed Christians. This period also saw the rise of prominent theological figures such as Origen of Alexandria, who made substantial contributions to Christian thought, particularly in the interpretation of Scripture and the development of Christian theology as an intellectual discipline. The Cyprianic Schism and the concept of church unity. A significant ecclesiastical event of this century was the controversy involving Bishop Cyprian of Carthage and the Roman Church, primarily over the issue of how to deal with Christians who had lapsed during persecution. Cyprian, in his tenure, 248 to 258 AD, argued that lapsed Christians could be readmitted to the Church but only through rigorous penance and the approval of the local bishop, challenging the authority and uniformity of practice in the wider Church. This schism highlighted the growing concerns over ecclesiastical authority and the unity of the Church, setting a precedent for later debates on ecclesiastical jurisdiction and papal primacy. The Little Peace and the growth of church infrastructure. The period between 260 and 303 AD, often referred to as the Little Peace of the Church, saw a temporary cessation of large-scale persecutions, allowing the Church to organize more openly and solidify its structures. During this time, the roles of bishops became more defined, and the Church's hierarchical structure became more pronounced. The development of the canonical New Testament also progressed, as church leaders sought to establish an orthodox corpus of scriptural texts, partly in response to heretical movements such as Montanism and Gnosticism. Late-century persecutions and the Edict of Diocletian. The century concluded with the onset of the Great Persecution under Diocletian in 303 AD, the most severe persecution the Church had faced. Diocletian's edicts demanded the destruction of Christian scriptures, the demolition of church buildings, and the execution of Christians holding administrative posts. This persecution deeply scarred the Christian community but paradoxically strengthened the resolve and organization of the Church, setting the stage for its eventual recognition and favor under Constantine in the early 4th century. Conclusion. The 3rd century was a crucible for the Catholic Church, shaping it through trials and tribulations into a more robust and structured community. From persecution to theological refinement and the solidification of ecclesiastical authority, the Church's journey through the 3rd century laid foundational elements that would define its future trajectory. As the century closed, the Church was on the cusp of transitioning from a persecuted minority to a leading religious force within the Roman Empire, poised to profoundly influence the subsequent history of Europe and the world.